Nobody wants this other man to be my father.
So now we're fighting over the color of the stroller?
Right.
Yeah.
This is his little girl. This is his daughter.
Why would the guy tell me stuff like that?
Because you know good.
Figure it out in my own head. Why they would do this to me.
Pip, you
come
just
in
told
about
her
her
you
life,
did not
though.
want me around
I
you.
did.
You're not making
I did.
no sense.
It ain't about me.
So quit talking about
It's about Jay.
Stay
So
with my
wait a minute,
cousin.
you all been engaged for 3 years.
A broken engagement ring pawned off, and wedding called off as well. Oh dear, this case started off quite strong, and that was just the beginning. Ms. Russell was furious with her now ex-fiancé, all because he had the nerve to deny paternity. On the other hand, the defendant had enough of the baby mama and her family, and was ready to put them out of the house. That's a lot of information to process in just a few seconds.
Ms. Russell, you claim that Mr. Shepard has been denying the paternity of your 10-month-old daughter, Armani.
Yes, ma'am.
You say he even took back your engagement ring, pawned it, and called off your wedding.
Yes, ma'am.
You have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove to him that he is indeed the father of your daughter. You say you hope that today's results will go your way and someday you'll both still marry.
Oh, it's gonna go my way.
Now their relationship was a rocky one, and the baby mama was quite eager to enlighten the court about the bad attitude of Mr. Shepard. Apparently, Ms. Russell took longer than expected to come back from a grocery run, and the suspicions shot through the roof. Who would have guessed a walk to the store would end up causing this ruckus? But it did!
Let me tell you this story, Yana. One
Please
day,
tell.
I walked to the store. It's hot. I stay in Texas. You know how Texas weather is. It's so hot. It's 100 degrees. I walk 4 blocks to the store. I come back. He getting all in my face. Where you been? What dude you
It
been
took you
with?
an hour and 30 minutes.
Come on now. An hour and 30 minutes?
go to the
It's
store.
4 blocks. I'm like, come on, man. I don't have time for this. So I grabbed my stuff.
Hour
I
and
packed
30
my
minutes,
stuff
for
up.
real?
And I left and I went to stay
So
with my
Wait a
cousin.
minute, you all been engaged for 3
years.
Well, the infamous best friend of Ms. Russell ended up causing a lot more trouble than he was worth. I mean, he clearly was a thorn on baby daddy's side. Big time! And that led to Mr. Shepard bringing out the big guns to finally get rid of the said best friend.
She went like, we was going to AutoZone and to check the battery on my truck. A guy called the phone.
My
And
best friend, Your Honor.
He
Since
called the phone
I've been
talking
21,
about, she don't
since the
want
age
you.
of 21.
She having sex with me. She don't want you. She having sex with me.
That's a
And
lie.
so wait a minute now.
That's a lie.
So you're there when he answers your phone,
Yeah.
obviously.
She-
I told
told me
him to answer the phone. If I was
So-
cheating, would I tell him to answer the phone? I
But
would
why would the
answer my
guy
own
tell me
phone.
stuff like that?
Because you know good.
Man.
The baby mama swore nothing fishy was happening between the best friend and her, and it seemed these guys went way back. But still, Mr. Shepard was not entirely too convinced by that, and so the baby mama just got up and left the house. Drama, drama, drama!
That this best friend and you didn't.
Ma'am, I'm positive.
Take it a little further than it should
I never
go?
messed with my best friend. Never.
Okay.
Never. He had a girlfriend. The whole time me and him been best friends. I mean, Your Honor, like I told you, I've
So
been
why
knowing him
was he
since I
all
was
up in
21.
your mix?
Because he was the only one that was
He
there for me.
continued to call,
He
he
was the
continued-
only one that, like,
She
him
go
and
high
his family
text,
was
all
my
that.
family. Because I really didn't have anyone when I was coming up. Him and his family was my family.
Now here comes the real gut punch. Ms. Russell ended up pregnant, and that too just a week later. So of course, the baby daddy didn't roll out the red carpet on this news. The cheating allegations began and the engagement took a nosedive. All the while, the plaintiff kept defending herself.
Are you or are you not taking his call?
I mean, in the beginning, no, I wasn't.
Okay.
But at the end, yes, I did start taking his calls.
How long did you call before she answered?
I've been calling ever since she left. Like, cause
So how long was that?
when she left, I say like a couple of hours after that, I start calling her because a lot of men be over there, girls,
Just 'cause men be
all
over
type
there,
of
that
stuff
don't
be
mean I'm
going
worried
on
about
over there. Anything goes on behind closed doors.
So you were calling and calling
Yeah, I
and
was
you went to
calling
get
it.
your son.
The window of conception was where things got pretty hazy. The baby daddy presented the good old conception calendar, highlighting the window where the math just didn't add up. The air buzzed with uncertainty and doubt, and it got thick when the baby revealed who else believed that the baby mama was a big old cheater.
So Mr. Shepard, this is the core of your doubt.
Yes.
Okay. The doubt also stems from the fact that you claim her mother has told you that she cheated
Yes.
on you.
One time, I told her mother to help clean up the house because she was like to lay around and stuff. So she got mad and started telling me, that's why it's not your baby. She don't look nothing like you. I be taking, when you at work, I take Gina to other men's house.
Next up, we got some key players in this courtroom drama. The defendant's witness came forward first, and her testimony just shook the whole place down.
I'm the mother of Gina.
Oh!
Yes.
You're Gina's mother.
Yes, ma'am.
But you're Mr. Shepard's witness.
Yes.
That don't even sound right. I know, Your Honor. That don't even sound right. That don't even
So,
sound
Ms.
right.
Russell, what do you have to add to this?
Your Honor, Gina has been cheating on
That's a
Ernest,
lie.
and I
I'll tell you.
have witnessed
I'll tell
it.
you.
I have witnessed it, and I don't believe that Amani is Ernest's baby.
Well, if the baby mama's mother was on his side, take a guess who was on the side of Ms. Russell. Ding, ding, ding. It was Mr. Sheprad's mother. And wait till you see the colorful words she used to describe the other duo as well. Man, oh man, it's real life. Mom's gone wild over here.
Ernest Shepherd is my son, and those two are crazy.
You are his mother.
Yes.
She supposed to be over here with me, not her.
Yes.
She on her side.
He's controlling.
I don't control
If Gina
nothing.
goes to the restroom, he's pulling her underwear down.
The shepherd, your
That's a lie.
mother, is telling
If Gina
you.
is at my house, he's
Yeah.
calling my house.
The drama didn't end just yet. Oh no, it was still going strong as the baby mama ranted about the daddy singing the same song the entire pregnancy. And after the baby was born, there was just no love for her. All love went to the son. It was infuriating to say the least. However, Mr. Shepherd had a justification all ready to share.
The doctor showing us the ultrasound on my, telling me that it's a little girl. He gonna tell me that ain't my baby. Call your husband and tell your husband y'all just had a little girl.
Where's your husband?
I could have sworn he supposed to be my husband.
Her best friend or somebody.
Oh,
The
you
best
meant
friend
the
or
best
something.
friend.
No, I ain't meet her.
Years.
He don't want to see me.
After that, we go back home. It's counseling. That's not my baby. That's not my baby. I go into labor.
Now, for the moment of truth. All results were ready to be rolled out. Miss Russell's truth-telling skills were put to the test. Before revealing the paternity results, let's see whether she passed with flying colors or not.
Mr. Shepherd, you are father.
I mean, I feel good about that. You know what I'm saying? Because that was I was concerned about. That's my daughter or not. But since that's my daughter, I'm going to take care of her. Like I take care of my son. So, ain't no problem with that. But with her, I don't know. Right now, I got to gather my thoughts and see what I'm going to do.
I realize that the lie detector results may have revealed something unpleasant or may have placed further doubt in your mind.
Miss Sams is requesting a paternity test to prove that Mr. Doris, listed as her father on her birth certificate, is not her biological father. Mr. Doris believes he is her biological father and is heartbroken by her claim. The court is now deciding whether there is enough evidence to order a paternity test.
Ms. Sams, you're here today requesting that this court grant you a paternity test to prove that the defendant, Mr. Doris, the man who is on your birth certificate, is not your biological father.
That's correct.
Mr. Doris, you say that you are heartbroken that Ms. Sams claims you are not her father and say there is no need for a paternity test. You know you are her biological father.
In 2009, at a family gathering, Miss Sams raised concerns about her paternity with her mother. Her mother didn't provide a clear answer, but advised her to have a paternity test if she had doubts. Mr. Doris, previously confident he was her father, is now facing uncertainty.
And my mom laughed about it. And she was like, well, there was this time in my life and, things were crazy and kind of laughing.
But at that time, she still maintained that Mr. Doris was your biological father.
never really talked about it. Like, just kind of
But
dropped it.
she knows that. She would have told you.
Well,
if that
did-
wasn't.
She did, but right before she died, she said, I think that you need to have this done.
It's evident that Miss Sam's doubts and quest for answers deeply affect Mr. Doris, as he becomes emotional when discussing the issue. Their relationship started when they met at a bar, and Miss Sam's mother's involvement in the situation is significant.
What are these pictures of, Mr. Doris?
Me and her, my little girl.
Beautiful father-daughter pictures.
That's a beautiful picture. However, I don't doubt any of that. I know that he was there when I was born. I'm aware that he's on my birth certificate. I have to know what is going on. For my sake, I need to know.
No doubt in my mind.
And you get very emotional when Miss Sams begins to talk about her doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
There appears to be a significant discrepancy regarding the timing of Mr. Doris and Miss Sam's mother's marriage. While Mr. Doris claims they were married 3 months after having sex in 1977, Miss Sams asserts they didn't marry until June 1979, backed by documentary evidence. This inconsistency adds to Miss Sam's doubts.
So you married her.
So we had sex before then?
Yeah, you just said 3 months before then.
No, we had sex in 77. 3 months later, I assume we got married.
No, you got
Maybe-
married in 79, in June of 1979.
She's saying you got married almost 2 years later.
Yeah, I have the marriage certificate. I have their marriage certificate and divorce decree from my mother's previous marriage.
The situation is indeed confusing, with multiple marriages, legal issues, and potential discrepancies in the timeline. Miss Sams believes there must have been a compelling reason why her mother wanted Mr. Doris to be her father and not the other man, who had legal troubles around the same time. This complexity has caused doubt that they are seeking to resolve.
I honestly believe there was good reason for that. If there was a reason why my mother wanted him to be my father and didn't have the other man as my father, there was a very good reason for it. The other man in 1978, in October of 1978, and did not go to prison until, well, went to jail and then he got bonded out. So for trial. And that would make sense why my mom would not want that man in my life.
Miss Sousis brings the defendant to court, seeking a DNA test to prove he's the father of her 10-month-old daughter. She wants his name on the birth certificate. The defendant and his mother claim the plaintiff's behavior during their on-and-off 3-year relationship raises doubts, citing jealousy and insecurity.
Ms. Sousis, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say it's his mother's fault he's denying your 10-month-old daughter, Aleliana. You claim when the DNA results prove he is the father, you want the defendant's name added to her birth certificate. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Payne, you and your mother say the plaintiff's sneaky behavior during your on and off 3-year relationship has led you both to believe she is a liar.
Mr. Payne was initially happy and a bit shocked when Miss Sousis told him she was pregnant. They had just gotten back together 2 weeks prior, and he questioned the timing because they had a history of breaking up and getting back together. Miss Sousis confirms they had sex during that time.
How soon after you got back together did...
2 weeks.
It seemed like right away. It seemed like that's the only reason why I questioned it, because the first time she was pregnant twice. The first time she got pregnant, I knew without a doubt it was his because she didn't go anywhere. I couldn't get rid of her. This time they kept breaking up. They break up so much, and they were broken up. I think y'all were broken up for about a month or something like that. They got back together, and she got pregnant.
Yes, we had sex.
During the pregnancy, Mr. Payne suggested a DNA test due to their on and off relationship and tit-for-tat behavior. Miss Sousis emphasized that she wouldn't ask him to be involved if the child wasn't his. An incident in a supermarket was mentioned, but not explained.
You take this test, and it's positive.
Yes.
And so you said we're not doing anything till we get a DNA test.
Not about. I said, me personally, I wanted a DNA test to make sure that it was his.
All right.
And I told him that he should get a DNA test because they both do things to each other. It seems like they go tit for tat. Oh, you talking to a guy? I'm gonna go talk to this girl. You're talking to a girl? I'm gonna go talk to this guy. They do this.
Yes, I did it. Yeah, I'm not innocent.
This is what they do.
Mr. Payne mentioned that he was there for 2 months during the pregnancy, but Miss Sousis claimed he disappeared. They live in the same complex, which makes his absence perplexing. Miss Sousis expressed frustration and a sense of being alone in her journey. Mr. Payne stated that she chose to be alone, but she indicated she wanted his support.
He was there for like 2 months and then he just disappeared.
No, I did not. She didn't want to be around me.
We live in the same complex, so it's kind of hard to disappear.
Miss Sousis, what are you feeling right now? You're so angry. I can see it. What's upsetting you the most? Take your time.
I'm just fed up.
She didn't have to be alone. She chose to. That was on her.
Who was there for me?
She chose to. Me?
Okay.
Wait.
Miss Sousis and Mr. Payne are expressing frustration and anger, with both of them blaming each other for the strained relationship. Miss Sousis wanted Mr. Payne's support during her pregnancy, but Mr. Payne claimed she kept him away. Their relationship appears to be filled with conflict and mixed messages.
I said, this is something you're gonna do by yourself. You realize that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I told you I was a teenage mother too, and they don't stick around.
Yes.
But
I'm just
together
mad that
they no
even if it is his, like, it took you guys 10 months just to do this, like.
You kept her away, though.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
Don't do that.
But that,
how did I keep her away?
He does.
But how did I keep her away?
You said you told him that I didn't do nothing at all. Got it. Not even knowing.
Come in and out
How did I
life.
disappear if you
come
just
in and
told
out
her you did not want me around you?
I did.
You're not making no sense.
All right,
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
The argument over the stroller's color reflects deeper relationship issues between Miss Sousis and Mr. Payne. Judge Lake recognizes their disputes are petty given their 10-month-old child. She probes to understand their emotions and underlying problems. Will the DNA result help this child?
So now we're fighting over the color of the stroller?
Right.
Yeah.
This is problematic. This really is sad.
It's heated because
is
we all.
No, because I mean, really, I kind of let the argument go for a minute because I want to try to understand what you're arguing about. I mean, what is it? But it's very superficial. It's just I don't know. It's just madness.
Mr. Strickland is seeking today's paternity results because he believes that their strained relationship can't continue as it is. The lack of trust and frequent arguments have made it difficult for them, and Miss Strickland hopes the results will prove to him that their daughter is indeed his, potentially saving their marriage.
And how has this all affected your marriage?
It's affected my marriage in the fact that my husband and I argue a lot. We have problems with trust, and it's very difficult for me because I love him with all my heart, and I would never do anything to betray his trust, ever. I need these results to prove to him that this is his little girl, this is his daughter.
Miss Strickland and Mr. Strickland initially felt deeply connected when they met, but their relationship suffered due to the strain of living separately during her efforts to reunite with her children. Mr. Strickland began to feel excluded when he was no longer invited on her visits to her children.
I felt like I had found my best friend. I found a part of my soul that had been missing. My children loved him, I loved him, and I still do.
I mean, it sounds like when you all met, you felt like you had found the person that you belonged. How did we get here?
It was difficult. My parent had taken my children for 11 months while I was trying to obtain a home for us in a new city, and I was looking for a job.
During Miss Strickland's week-long trips to Memphis, their relationship became strained. Mr. Strickland felt her growing distance, but it was never her intention to shun him. However, his doubts about the pregnancy made it difficult for him to fully engage and be affectionate.
She had gone over there and she'd been to Memphis for probably about a week, and it was kind of rough because, you know, of course I missed her, I loved her. And when she got back, it was the same thing as before. It was, you know, she didn't want me around her, she didn't want me near her. Yeah, it was like something was missing.
So, Miss Strickland, did you shun him?
No, Your Honor, it was never intended to shun.
Miss Strickland requested her maiden name on the birth certificate, but later it was told that her daughter's last name had to be different. However, she left the father's information blank on the birth certificate, causing concern. What led her to take this crazy decision?
When they first brought the birth certificate in, I had signed the paperwork. They refused it because me and her were not legally married. She was still legally married to her ex-husband.
Oh.
So they brought in the second birth certificate. She requested to have her maiden name put on it.
Okay.
They said there wasn't a problem with that. She signs the paperwork, they send it off, we wait in the mail for it to come in, and all of a sudden, we're sitting there in the mail and we get the birth certificate in, and I'm happy. I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna have her maiden name, but I can deal with that.
Mr. Strickland mentioned that he discovered how to easily petition the court for a paternity test himself and get a new birth certificate with the correct information. He claimed to have asked Miss Strickland for 4 years to take this action, but hasn't seen progress.
And I found out I literally could walk in there and within 6 months have it done. All I had to do, I could file a petition for the court for a paternity test. Once it was situated and it was proven whether I was the father or not, I go to the county clerk and then pay my money. And it was nothing to it because at that point in time, they order a new birth certificate. Within a few weeks, it comes in. It wouldn't take but a few months to get it done. It was
so
quite simple.
Nancy's 4. Why haven't we gotten this done?
I actually just found out that I could do that.
Miss Scott just had twins a month ago, and yet she was here in paternity court to get some answers for her firstborn baby Jaden. Now she was positive the baby daddy was Mr. Alexander, but he didn't seem too thrilled over that prospect. And with that, let's dive right in this case, people.
Miss Scott, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Holloway, were overjoyed when you gave birth to your twin sons just last month. However, you say those joyous emotions quickly turned to shock when Mr. Holloway then began denying paternity of another one of your children, 1-year-old Jaden. Mr. Holloway, you and your mother say that although you are the father of her newborn twins, you believe Miss Scott cheated on you.
Ah, the tangled web of relationships. Ain't that a hassle of its own, huh? Baby mama insisted she and the other guy were just friends with benefits. On the other hand, she and Mr. Alexander was like old pals. That's some weird combination right here. Well, to each their own. But the real question was, who wore the crown of Mr. Right in this love triangle?
And so how did this situation go in your estimation?
Me and Mr. Alexander, we're just friends. We did, mess around like years ago, and he's been my friend about as long as I've known Mr. Holloway.
Okay.
And around the time that my son Jaden was conceived, I had no contact with him.
Betrayal and hurt simmered in the defendant's corner. The alleged baby daddy was convinced Ms. Scott played a game of paternity roulette by maintaining ties with Mr. Alexander. The man even had dates memorized during which such fun times took place. Now that was something.
In this courtroom today with a question of paternity, you obviously were sleeping with someone else as well.
Not at the same time I was sleeping with Mr. Holloway. Like I said, he had left me before, and when we weren't talking, like the whole year of 2012, we weren't talking, I did see other people. But around the time that Jaden was conceived, I was not sleeping with Mr. Alexander.
All right.
Well, the roller coaster of on-again, off-again relationships, with a dash of occasional flings with the other fella, landed the baby mama in this paternity pickle. However, the defendant's mother accompanied him to the court, and boy, did she love the plaintiff. Ah, not so much. And there they went ripping at each other. Calm down, people, this isn't your backyard.
In which you claim she slept with Mr. Alexander.
At that point in time, I didn't have a feeling. I just knew that they had been together before me.
So why did you sign the birth certificate then?
Because the friends.
Why did you sign the birth certificate?
Because of the friends. Because she was the one telling the friends about what was going on in her life with this guy.
Now, initially, the baby daddy let bygones be bygones and went along with the merry news of the pregnancy. And then bam! A Christmas picture of the baby hit him out of nowhere. Now the alarms in his head were ringing loud and clear, so he took the matter into his own hands and let his mommy be the judge of who the baby looked like. Very mature, yeah.
I felt that he was my son. Then, around December 2013, Christmas, she had posted a picture of Jaden. Matter of fact, that same picture.
He looks like me.
She posted that picture on Facebook, and before I even saw that picture, I had saw Mr. Alexander in 2012, which was the last time I saw him face to face.
Clearly these guys weren't fans of each other. Confusion and desperation are the order of the day, folks. Buckle up, because next up we had birthday party invites and Facebook drama taking center stage. Who knew paternity battles could be so drama-packed?
If it's not, I still want to see the baby. You be denying me from it.
How do I do that?
You know exactly how
do I do that? What, you mad about the birthday party? That wasn't my place to invite you. You could have came. Matter of fact, I heard you was on your way. You didn't even show up.
No,
that's not my place to invite you. And me and you weren't
How come
even
it's not your place? You the
me
mother.
And you weren't even speaking at the time.
See what I'm saying?
Continuing the accusations, we get to know that the baby mama apparently didn't let these guys hold the baby. Yep, pretty bold accusations were being fired left and right, and the baby mama was smack dab in the middle of it all.
And she's telling people in the hospital like she's not finna be passed around like a trophy, because I know that she meant she didn't want me to hold the baby.
Actually I meant, did you see how many people was there, how many friends I had there? It wasn't even about you. Why you make this about you? It's about Jaden.
It ain't about me. It's about Jaden. Until now, Your Honor. She ain't know nothing about it was about Jaden, because if she
it is about Jaden.
So Ms. Scott, in the hospital, Ms. Neal is saying.
So the baby daddy along with his entourage was present at the time of the birth. The environment there must have been palpable with rising tension, huh? But as soon as the baby daddy got a glimpse of that baby face, he was on high alert. And Ms. Scott had the gall to justify like this.
At what point does the doubt set in?
The doubt set in when I saw this picture, and I know for a fact that Ms. Scott and Mr. Alexander keep in contact. They've kept in contact.
We are friends. That's like one of my best friends.
That they had a sexual relationship with, though.
While I was pregnant, no, I haven't. That was years ago.
This is not years ago,
And while
Your
I was
Honor.
pregnant with Jaden, he had like offered to even buy my son some shoes. Just being a friend.
About time, Mr. Alexander graced the court with his presence. If you hoped he would be able to untangle this paternity mess, well, that didn't happen. He testified that he and the baby mama hadn't talked in quite some time. Way to go and make this more of a mess than it already was, huh? Ms. Scott had been a busy bee for sure.
Why don't you believe you could be Jaden's father?
Because the last time we had sex was like 2009, 2010.
That's definitely outside the window of conception. You did not blink an eye when he said that. You don't believe that?
I don't believe that. They've kept in contact since her first pregnancy when she was pregnant with Jaden. They've been talking the whole time.
We talked
all the way
so
until now. But when I ask her, are you talking to him? She denies that.
Time to wrap this drama up, because none of this made any sense anymore. The only way to put a stop to this was to unveil the DNA results. Let's see whether the results uncomplicate this mess or not.
Mr. Alexander, you are not his father. Mr. Holloway, you are his father.
Yes, and I don't like it, and I know she's gonna keep it because she's so hateful and mean.
Now this is just too much.
I know.
There is going to be no winning with this type of attitude.